When do we speak of morality? When does an action touch on the question of morality? When we do something, when does it become a matter of morality? Cooking an egg and deciding if it should be scrambled egg or sunny side up egg. Is that about morality? A scientist studying the chemical composition of water. Is that scientist dealing with morality? Now, choosing to abort or not to abort a fetus in the womb, is that about morality? So when is a choice, a decision, an action about morality? Morality begins when we realize that we are not the only persons in this world. The question of morality arises in the context of our relationships with others. When we do action, we ask, is the action good or bad? Why? Because it may affect others. Now that is when morality comes in. When we were little children, we were fused with our mother. The child was in fusion with the mother. But then as the child grows older, the child learns to have more awareness of what other people think, feel, and plan. The child grows up to realize that there are other people with their own lives, with their own feelings, with their own dreams. So as the child grows up, the child learns to give up a life where the child is always thinking of himself or herself. So in morality, we slowly give up a life where it is always about ourselves. Slowly we realize it is not always about me. I am not the only person in this room. I am not the only person in this house. I am not the only person in this family. I am not the only person in this community. I am not the only person in this neighborhood. I am not the only person in this society. I am not the only person in this world. So morality arises from this recognition that I am not the only person in this world. My actions affect other people too. There is an expression, being too full of oneself. Now, morality arises in situations in which we are called not to be too full of ourselves. There is a word which is indifference. Morality arises from the prohibition to be indifferent. There are situations in which we cannot stay indifferent to what other people feel, think, and do. We might be acting in such a way that we are indifferent to what happens to other people. I may be doing something which affects others, and I am indifferent to that. Morality is a prohibition against indifference. In simpler terms, we can say that morality is a way of overcoming our indifference towards others, overcoming our being too full of ourselves. This allows for communication and living together. And this also explains why there are rules, norms, laws. These are what we should do. And when we say we should, it means that there are certain blocks in our way of living that need to be overcome. And the shoulds, the laws, the norms, the rules are ways of correcting our behavior, addressing the blocks so that we can continue communicating with each other and living harmoniously together. In fact, when we think of the education of children, do we not think of teaching children about the world of relationships? How children can be part of the world of relationships, participate in the world of relationships, participate in a world where there are other people, and children realize and understand that what they do will affect others too. The question of morality arises also in situations of the intolerable. We feel horror and indignation when we are confronted with situations that are intolerable. We say that they should not happen. They are bad things that cannot be accepted and justified. We say this action is unjust. This action is intolerable. It should never happen. It is inhuman. So, for example, a mother beating up a baby, that is intolerable. The sheer neglect of the poor, exploitation of the poor, that we say is intolerable. Torture is intolerable. There are many things that are happening in our world that are intolerable. They are inhuman. And there we evaluate. We evaluate the action morally. And we say the action is bad. So morality is that which opposes the intolerable. Morality is that which opposes the inhuman. To put it in a positive way, morality is a way of seeking paths to humanize us. We seek ways to develop and to let grow our humanity. We seek ways to fulfill ourselves as truly human. We avoid actions that are inhuman. We reject actions that are intolerable. And we promote whatever develops our humanity. So morality is a humanization.